What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday afternoon matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers. All right, so this game is set to be played September 29th. Kickoffs 1 p.m. East Coast time, Charlotte, North Carolina. Odds are set at Cincinnati minus 4.5. Over under is 47, and there has not been any movement on that over under. It went down like half a point. It was at 47.5, but so there's been no movement on the line really thus far that's significant, except for like half a point to the under, guys. Right now, let's talk about this game, man. These two teams. So the Bengals, like, who are they right now? Okay, because they're coming into this season where there was a lot of hope for the Bengals winning the Super Bowl or even being like in the Final Four. And right now, they got their backs to the wall all the way. They started off 0-3 again. Like, for how many seasons in a row are you going to start off 0-3? Okay, the Bengals only scored 33 points against the Washington Commanders, which is amazing for them because they really hadn't been putting up a lot of points. But it wasn't enough because the defense gave up 38 points. They allowed a quarterback that was a rookie in the name of Jaden Daniels to look like a seasoned veteran, allowing him to come out and throw for 234 and 2 touchdowns while going 21-23. All right, like, this dude was still in his Heisman mode and all that stuff out there like that, man. That doesn't even make sense. What are you doing? Okay, how did you allow Jaden Daniels to get off on you like that? And see, it wasn't just the fact that Jaden Daniels came out there looking like a seasoned vet. All right, it was the defense just really let the team down, man. Like, the offense wasn't a concern. Joe Burrow had a huge game. He completed 29 for 38 passes for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, he finished with 6 carries or catches, for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. While Chase Brown, he rushed 7 times for 62 yards, man. Like, the opportunities were there. It just doesn't make sense at all what Zach Taylor has happening to him up there in Cincinnati. Now, 2 games ago against the Kansas City Chiefs, they were competitive, all right, but they ended up losing that one 26-25. Okay, like, the Bengals are averaging 22.7 points while their defense is giving up 26.7 points per game. Like, the offense is ranked 13th. Defense is 26th. That is not a recipe for success in the NFL, man. The defense has been the issue, and the question is this week, can the defense step up and do what it needs to do against a Carolina Panthers team that is struggling in its own right? Now, to talk about that Carolina Panthers team, the Panthers lost the first 2 games of the season, but all they had to do was bench Bryce Young and put in a veteran in the name of Andy Dalton, okay, and get the team functioning at a normal rate. Now, is it the fact that Bryce Young really needed to be benched? Maybe he did. Maybe he needs to sit down for a little bit, sit from the sideline, and try to understand and digest the game from the sideline. Okay, I think he's not honestly ready to play right now because you don't have any weapons out there for him, for real. Your offensive line isn't the best, for real. Like, it's a lot of different things that are moving parts that needed to be in place in order to put a quarterback like Bryce Young back there. Just my opinion, We'll find out. Only time will tell. All right. Now, last Sunday, the Panthers faced off against the Raiders, and they ended up winning 36-22. At halftime, they were up 21-7, but they never looked back on the way to a victory. Okay, Andy Dalton completed 26-37 passes for 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard also had a huge game. He finished with 12 carries for 114 yards, and Deontay Johnson, he only had 8 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. Like, so the big question right now for the Carolina Panthers is, can they do it again? Can they have another strong game from Andy Dalton, or will the team regress to the mean and get back to what we know it's been over the last couple weeks and couple games? All right. So to look at the injury report right now for these 2 teams, then there's definitely significant names you want to look at, right? So Trey Hendricks is questionable, ailing from an illness and undetermined if he'll be out there. Of course, Jamar Chase is still questionable, hoppable at shoulder. Expect him to be out there. Jake Browning's questionable, battling a hip injury. Expect him to be the backup. Tanner Hudson's questionable, bothered by the knee. Unknown if he'll be out there. All right, and then when you look over to Carolina's got Deontay Johnson on there, questionable with the groin. We know he'll probably be out there. All right, he's just been resting. But the problem you got right now is Adam Thielen just went on the IR. He was placed on injured reserve and a hamstring injury, and there's no timetable for his return. So that is a big problem for what they were trying to do last week and what they've been doing. Like, they need other wide receivers that can be able to step up for this team, and I'm not sure if they got that. All right, just being honest about it, right? So when you look at the matchups and how these teams have been averaging out there, okay, and who's going to take advantage of what. So like I said, Cincinnati's averaging 22.7 points per game, but they're facing a defense that in Carolina that gives up 31.7. So that's the 32nd worst defense in the NFL. So I expect, Cincinnati to be able to put up some more numbers than that 22.7. I'm just being honest with you about that, man. And if I'm being honest about that, then I think the Bengals can go over the 24.5 points. Okay, that's one easy one that you can get in there. I also think if you look in the first half, if you look in the first half, I think the Bengals in the first half can, if you look team total over for Bengals first half, I think that they can hit that. I think that they can hit the over 13.5 points in the first half. Very, very big opportunity for that. I also can see the Bengals up by -1.5. That's a -140 at halftime, guys. All right. I honestly believe that this could be a trifecta spot for the Panthers to get smoked. Okay. The Bengals are 0-3 right now. Okay. Check that. Joe Burrow is 0-3, guys. All right, I don't think he's going to keep going, especially when you look at third down conversion. Cincinnati converts on third down 41.18% of the time. That's 10th best in the NFL. Whereas Carolina allows you to convert 47.5% of the time. That's the 27th worst defense against a third down in the NFL. Then look red zone. Red zone, Cincinnati scores 50% of the time. That's 15th in the NFL. But Carolina, if you get to the red zone on them, they allow you to score a touchdown 88.89% of the time. That is literally the worst defense in the red zone in the NFL. So now let's look at Carolina. Carolina only scores 16.3 points per game. Now we are looking at a team that has had two quarterbacks. Okay, so it could be completely different. All right, but at the same time, you are who you are. All right, and then Cincinnati's defense, they're some trash. They're giving up 26.7 points per game. Now they have played some dogs. Okay, they have played some dogs in there, but man, come on, man. Like, if that defense don't step up, it's going to be a problem. I don't care who Carolina puts out there, especially if Carolina goes out there trying to run the ball. Now, Carolina, in their defense, they haven't been running the ball well on the season, right? They're only averaging 93 yards a game on the season when they're running the ball. But I can tell you right now, Dave Canales is going to try to run that ball, okay? Because Cincinnati gives up 142.3 yards a game on the ground. That's 26th worst in the NFL. So I can tell you right now, Chuba Hubbard is going to be getting that rock. They're going to run the ball, okay? And if it works or it don't work, they're going to still try to run the ball. All right, and that's guaranteed. Okay, now Cincinnati at this point in time, they have the 27th worst rushing offense in the NFL. They only average 89.3 yards a game. But Carolina, man, they allow you to run the ball 151.3 yards a game. They're going to let you run the ball. That's 29th worst in the NFL. And then if you look against the pass, Carolina's defense against the pass is kind of decent. All right. They do allow you to complete 71.4% of the passes that you throw, okay? But Joe Burrow's 8th best in the NFL. He completes 70.87 against anybody. So that means that it's an opportunity for Joe Burrow to have more success with his wide receivers than he has had in the past, meaning putting up more points, okay? I can only give y'all what I can only give y'all, man. Try to give you nothing but the facts. Now, if you're looking at the stat splits and you're looking at how these two teams play in the last 3 games, we already know, we went over those numbers, okay? But what about away and home? So on the road, Cincinnati scores 25 points per game and gives up 26 points a game. You heard that right, man. They average 25 and give up 26. Now, that was the Kansas City game, all right? And we know how Kansas City is. They are definitely not on the same level as the Carolina Panthers, all right? And then when we look at the Carolina Panthers, at home, they only average 3 points a game, and they give up 26, okay? So over 24.5 points should be good with this Cincinnati team. You should be able to try to look at them for the first half as well, over that 13.5. I might even try the first quarter on that. 6 points, because 6 points for the first quarter, guys. All right? Like, there's definitely opportunities all around this game on the Cincinnati end. And I know I usually don't give y'all like all these picks in the middle of it, man, but at the end of the day, when it's there, I got to give it to you, man. So Cincinnati's 0-3. That's why I'm trying to tell you that Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow are not going to go 0-4. They are not going to go 0-4 and lose to Carolina Panthers. This is not happening. If it does happen, man, it would boggle my mind. It would blow up the whole season for them. This is it. This is it. They will lose the locker room. They lose this game. Okay. Now, both teams are coming in 1-2 against the spread in this situation. All right. As a favorite, Cincinnati is not covered yet. They're 0-2. All right. And as an away team, all right, they're 1-0 against the spread, whereas Carolina as a home team is 0-1. Both teams are 2-1, 2 to the over, 1 to the under. As far as over/under is concerned, thus far this season. And if you're just looking at who they played and how they played over the last 10 games and why this looks like it looks like, man. So Cincinnati's played this season. They played Washington, Kansas City, and New England. They played one slug, okay? Washington's an okay team, but New England's a slug, all right? So you could see why their numbers kind of look why they look. Now, over the last 10 games, they're 4-6 straight up against and then against the spread, they're 4-5-1 going back to last season, and then 7 to the over and 3 to the under. So they have been in kind of tailspin, guys, since they lost to Pittsburgh back in December. On December 23rd last year, okay? Because they really haven't won any games besides beating Cleveland on January 7th to try to get in the playoffs, which it didn't work. You know what I mean? You should have played better earlier in the season. You can't start off 0-3 every year. Now, if you're talking about, and then is this a look-ahead spot for Cincinnati? There can't be a look-ahead spot. Yeah, they got Baltimore next, and then they got the Giants, and then they got Cleveland, but this can't be a look-ahead spot because at the end of the day, if they look ahead right now, then their season's over. I'm calling it right now. Season's over for them. If they I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs anyway. But I believe that their locker room will implode if they lose this game to the Carolina Panthers. Now you're looking at Carolina. Carolina's 2-8 in their last 10 games, guys. They're 4-6 against the spread, and they're 4 to the over, 6 to the under in the last 10 games, man. They play Chicago, Atlanta, and Washington in their next 3 games. And if you're talking about trends for these teams, Cincinnati Bengals have hit the first half game total over in 8 of their last 9 away games, guys. That's why I'm giving you what I'm giving you. All right, that's a 67% return on investment. Now, when you look at Carolina, Carolina's covered the third quarter spread in 13 of their last 17 games, guys. Cincinnati Bengals have hit the second quarter game total over in 7 of their last 8 away games. Once again, that's why I give it to you. This is another 65% return on investment. Now, when you're looking at Carolina, Carolina has hit the third quarter game total under in 12 of their last 17 games, man. All right, that's a 28% return on investment. So I don't know if you want to look at that, but at least you know, okay? And just to give you a little bit more information, just before we have to end this video, guys. So the Panthers have lost 7 of their last 8 games against teams that held a losing record. The Bengals have won each of their last 4 road games against NFC opponents. The Panthers have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 7 games at Bank of America Stadium, all right, when playing with a rest advantage. The Bengals have covered the spread in each of their last 4 games against NFC South opponents. And the Bengals have won the first half in each of their last 4 Sunday road games, guys. So, what does this mean? All right. Does this mean this game is going to be a shootout? Are the Panthers gonna go out there and get a big game from Dalton, from Andy Dalton, and he be the difference, man? Like, is this gonna be the Andy Dalton revenge game, or is Joe Burrow going to have a huge game on Sunday night? I mean, Sunday afternoon football, man. And is he gonna go out there, or is he gonna be the same dude he was in week? You pick it. All right, like he's just now getting over the slump as far as I'm concerned, as far as how he's been looking. He looked good out there last week, man. Neither the Panthers defense nor the Bengals defense are good. All right, the defenses are trash right now. They have opportunity to be good, but they're both trash. All right, this game could be a high-scoring game. And that's why, if I'm going to play anything about some high scoring, I got to rock with the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't rock with the Carolina Panthers. I don't trust them. I do trust them to go out there and score some touchdowns on the ground, though. So maybe Chuba Hubbard or something like that. Maybe Deontay Johnson gets off a little bit. But at the end of the day, I expect the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. Money line. Okay? But I've already told you what I like. I like my locks are those overs that I gave y'all earlier in this video. And I will put them in the pinned comments for you guys, man. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. Enjoy the videos. And like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.